Facebook man, posting lies about my life which no one else can. Filters on my face disguise my age. Showing money that I don't have, there's words on my page. Why don't you come and join my team? It's called living the fake Facebook live dream. If they post a pic of me deep clean, but it's pizza and burgers for dinner, you know what I mean. A snapshot of vacations that I got no money to take. Send you one of my sports cars, you know that it's a fake. Got my walls loaded up with things that aren't even true. Pretending on Facebook is my thing too. Yeah, 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 yeah.
2,000 friends, which I've never done met. A pic of my lunch is what you gonna get. I had a post of your baby, say it's one darn cute kid. But I lied cause it's ugly, that's called an online fib. I talk about success in my job and the pending promotion, but in reality it's a psych cause I got a demotion.
Only the fake Facebook man, posting lies about my life which no one else can. Filters on my face disguise my age. Showing money that I don't have, there's words on my page. Why don't you come and join my team? It's called living a fake Facebook live dream.
You block me on Facebook without a judge, jury, or trial. I'll be creeping you the next day with a shiny new profile. See a pic of my family? Yeah, we're having a good time. Well, the joke's on you. We have not talked in 8 months or 9. I'll tell you about the weather and the stuff you don't need to know. I'll fake a good illness so the sympathy will grow. I'll ask you to donate to my made-up cause and post selfies on the daily, that ain't breaking no laws. So don't judge the life of the fake Facebook man, pretending to be happy like no one else can. That's right, pal. You messed up. There's no fixing it this time.
Klomp, what's wrong now?
I'm watching Schools Out and I can't believe what Joey and Tessa did to Caitlin. I can't.
Can you not give this a rest? You've been going on about this since 1992 already.
I can't get past it. All right, kinsman. Our technical thing was going all wacky tonight.
It was going all weird, and we're on the wrong side.
That's right. It was it was pretty funny because the video went into the outro, and I'm like, maybe Kinsman's running all the technical stuff on the show tonight.
No, I don't know what I hit. Click. Anyhow, we're here.
Yes, we are, pal. I love it, man. Pretty exciting, really exciting day today. So if you ever watched the Degrassi series, and I'm talking about the original Degrassi series, you know,
with Snake and Wheels and obviously, yes,
all the originals, my friend. Yep. And two names always run very important from that series, and that is Caitlin and Joey, right? And I don't know if you followed that series, but they started.
I did.
Yeah. It started years, like Degrassi's been around for almost 40 years now. And of course you had the new generation, and then you had the next class. But Stacy, who played Caitlin Ryan, is going to be joining us next Thursday, and she's going to talk all Degrassi, and it's going to be pretty amazing. And they're doing, they're still very much involved. They have a page called Degrassi Tour, and they're going to be doing a live auction a week
on the Friday.
on the Friday. So
she's going to be on the show Thursday, maybe teeing, maybe bringing some of the items that'll be on that auction. And again, you can win some, nostalgia from way back. And again, Degrassi Junior High. Caitlin, you're a big fan, and she's going to be on the show.
It's going to be awesome, pal. So that's there we go, Kinsman. All the buttons are flying everywhere tonight on the show, but we have a pretty awesome guest tonight. But before we get there, you're not giving away one prize or two. You're actually giving away three prizes.
We have three prizes to give away from our amazing sponsors. Three generous donations tonight. The Timmins Rock. We've got Ted Gooch, the president of the Junior A Hockey Club here in the city, providing 2 tickets to next Friday's home opener. So if you want to win tickets to tonight's show, just comment and say, I want to win, some tickets. Or you just want to win in general, because you can win the tickets for The Rock, which is prize number 1. 2 tickets to Imagine Cinema 6 tonight. So someone's going to be going to the movies at the end of tonight's show. And we also have $30 in Farm to Fork bucks. The Mountjoy Farmers Market. You can go and get your local produce and maybe a salmon pie. Maybe put it towards one of those signs by Jared, who's been down there the last 3 Saturdays. Or maybe you can buy a case of Trésor kombucha. We picked up ours from the Urban Farm today. Jessica always down at the farmers market, and that $30 will go in someone's pocket. And again, we're going to have 3 draws at the end of tonight's show. And all you have to do is say, hello, comment, maybe tell us where you're watching from. And as long as you engage in tonight's program, you have a chance to win tonight.
Yes, and we have a shiny new tool that we tested out last show to draw the names. So
it's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, that's right. So all you really need to do is comment, and then it's going to randomly draw 3 names. Kinsman, you weren't cheap tonight. You were getting cheap for a while because we had no prizes, and I got worried. And now you're coming out with 3. You might be overdoing it, but
am I overdoing it? That's the KINZ and KLOMP live trifecta. Well, I knew our special guest Amanda coming in from Thunder Bay tonight. I just had to roll out a bit of the red carpet, as we get introduced to Team Green, the Green Party.
Yes, and
the upcoming election in just a few minutes. We'll give you some incentive to tune in and hear what Amanda has to say, and get a chance to walk away a winner after tonight's show tonight.
And I was telling Amanda, just for bringing her on, we're very excited, to have her on, because there is no candidate for the Timmins James Bay Green. There's no Green Party of Canada candidate. So it's really cool to hear their position, because we had a conversation with the candidates in our area, but of course, Green Party wasn't represented. So we're super excited to have her on the show.
That's right.
And hear the party's position. And she's at a pretty fun race there in Thunder Bay. So I think we bring her on. Are you ready or what?
Let's bring Amanda on. She's waiting back in our lobby.
You're not going to hit any buttons on me now.
No, you can do this.
Don't make me look bad in front of, Amanda lives in Thunder Bay. That's my neck of the woods. Okay, don't make me look bad in front of my Thunder Bay.
Right.
Thunder Bay.
No embarrassment to the fellow 807 area code.
All right,
so let's you bring her in.
Hello.
Hi, it's nice to see you both.
Yes.
Hi, Amanda.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah, nice to see you as well.
What's the weather like in Thunder Bay?
The weather's absolutely fantastic. We just had a little bit of rain. It was a really light sprinkle, and we've needed it. The grass is actually the same color as my cat right now, and it's looking pretty sad.
Yeah, that's right. When I was in Thunder Bay about a month ago, it was the smoke. I tried to get a picture of the sleeping giant for folks from here who haven't seen it, and every day they're like, there's no sleeping giant. I'm like, I can't see it, the smoke.
Well, the good news is anybody that can actually see on my Facebook page, the banner, it is the sleeping giant right now. So we have that up there for your viewers if they'd like.
Like the sunniest place in all of Canada. And of course, when KLOMP went, the smokiest, couldn't see anything, but he did see it on his final day. Which was kind of nice. He kept promising it to us, but then
yes, the clouds parted, right? I don't know.
Right.
That's Moses. What did he parted the sea or something? Was that Moses?
I feel like
that's
part
of the Red Sea.
Yeah. That welcome to the show. We really appreciate you coming on, and so tell us a little bit, because I'll mention it again. We didn't have an opportunity to speak to a representative from the Green Party of Canada. Tell us what the Green Party of Canada stands for.
Oh, there's a lot of things that the Green Party stands for. The most important thing, though, is honest, ethical government. And we've all seen a lot of issues over the last few years. And like, we could point at any one particular party, but I think we'd all be a little bit silly to do that. Within every single party, there's issues. The biggest difference with the Green Party is we air our issues in the open, and we have open, honest discussions about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, Mark. It doesn't sound like our working relationship, Mark. We hold everything in and don't.
Honest discussion. We would not make a good member of the Green Party. That's why they leave those positions for the likes of the Amandas out there on the planet, trying to get their voices heard. Maybe a good question, Amanda. With all the I guess the normal winners and the usual winners that usually win these elections, is it tough putting your hat into the ring to try to get your voice heard, being a part of the Green Party?
It is absolutely brutal some days, and other days it's really easy, because as much as the Green Party, people have certain misconceptions 100%, but there's a lot of people that are very friendly, and they actually like to hear what everybody has to say. So as long as you approach them as a person, they usually respond the same way. And that's one of the nice things about the Green Party, is that's really what we're here for. We get along with everybody.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And you're running, in the federal election, which is coming up now in 11 days. But this isn't. You've been involved with the Green Party for some time, correct?
Absolutely. I got involved in 2015 when we experienced what's been known as the red wave. That's when Justin Trudeau actually took power and he unseated Stephen Harper. So at that point there, everybody was screaming, anybody but Harper. And then we ended up with Justin.
Right. And now, I don't know, they're screaming something like that for Trudeau here. I'm not too sure what's happening.
I'm not sure what they're screaming or throwing or what's actually going on down there. But it's honestly the division that I'm seeing right now. I've never seen it in politics before. And that's one of the nice things about being the Green Party, is we're just not into that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
the division is crazy right now. Obviously, vaxxed, unvaxxed. That has to be a popular question. When you're out there in your own riding. What's your take on the whole vaccination pass? Is there a different way to tackle it? There's got to be a way where there's not that division, where you can't be, as people are saying, you're feeling discriminated from. If you're not vaxxed, it could be a medical reason. You've got proof. You just don't want to take it. Again, there's no right or wrong. You take a vaccination. Don't have the vaccination, more power to you. But what's your stance on that?
I'd like to play a really fun game before I get into that. Are you two vaccinated?
We are, yes.
Yes,
okay.
We are.
I'm not. I'm a disabled military veteran with sciatica, and I have an absolute fear. I've gone through years where walking is a very difficult thing because of sciatica. So if I take the wrong medication or the wrong vaccine, I might not be able to walk. And I don't know that that's really something that I should, with a vaccine that's not really got a lot of long-term data, have to face at this point, but I do. So when you're looking at other things, like even the Amber Alert system, right? That there, I don't know how many times I've been woke up at 2, 3 in the morning for issues that are happening around Barrie or Toronto. And I'm all for the Amber Alert system 100%. I think it's a very good system. But they can't even iron out the issues of there is no need for me, who has serious sleep deprivation as a disabled military veteran with PTSD, to have my phone screaming at me at 2 o'clock in the morning when my ringer's off. Mm-hmm. So like, they can't get the simple things right. I do have serious hesitations with the vaccine passport, and really and truly, if this government was ready for that, this would be a federal initiative. And you can see that with how forcefully they pushed the carbon tax.
Speaking of taxes, I was watching the the debate. I think it was last night or the night before. And of course, taxes always come up every single election, and everyone seems to have a simple answer how to fix it. And it's always tax the rich more, right? Tax the rich, tax the 1%. But does taxing the 1% more going to fix the problem that we're in? To me, the answer is no, but I'm not a political or financial expert.
No, it's not. It'll help in some respects, but what we really need is we need people to be smart about the money that they're spending, right? So like I sat down and spoke with the Liberal yesterday, and we were talking about the finer points of spending, and they were like, well, the Liberal Party has spent billions of dollars on this. We put it towards mental health in these ways. Oh yeah, we fixed the roads. And then when we're talking about the mental health piece, really what was happening was they were setting up websites and phone lines. Those things are really cheap. You put in enough of them, it looks like you spent a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're sitting on hold, that's not mental health. Or when you're looking at points on, anybody can look at points on the internet 100%. That's not helping with your mental health. Like we need to put serious investment into things that we need. Things like doctors, real doctors that are actually accessible to everybody. So you have to stop making medical school so inaccessible for the smart kids that maybe don't have the money to go.
That's actually a really good point, because education, as we know, like my son's in a second year college, my daughter completed the nursing program, and they're astronomical, the costs, and even doubled from when I went, and probably double from when my folks went. It'll probably be double for their kids. It's becoming like an extreme wealthy privilege to go to school, and we're blessed with many things in Canada. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, we are.
We recognize every day, the freedoms and the liberties that we have here. But you're right, the education system, to be accessible to a greater percentage of the population, is a really good position. And is that something the Green Party stands by?
100%. We're all for free tuition. The other thing that we're for is increasing broadband access, because as we've seen with COVID, that's the way school's going now. So if you can't access it through, if your first hurdle is funding and you can actually get past that, you might actually end up in a position where you can't even attend classes because your internet won't support it. So then they've made it accessible, but no, they haven't. And then that's that double speak that we keep seeing over and over and over of, we fix that problem. It's like, no, you fix that problem over there. We're still working on this one here. How do we actually make this work for real people and have less lip service to the issues that we've been dealing with for as long as I've been around?
You're right. The broadband issue is definitely, it really stuck up during online schooling last year for the school term, because, we just take it for granted. We both have decent internet in our homes. Of course, we do an online show, so our children have access to it. But what if you don't? What if you can't afford a good internet package or afford internet at all? Then were those kids missed out last year? I know there was hard copies, but were they accessible?
Well, and what's the like internet like in South Porcupine? It wasn't great when I was there last.
Yeah. Well, thank God they fixed that, or I would have been moving right out of here. If I don't have good internet, then I'm not living in that community. So
that's right.
That's been addressed, Amanda. Rest assured.
I will sleep easier tonight. Thank you.
Are there any specific issues that you strongly believe in or push forward that are your region specific?
Well, I could go over region specific issues over Bombardier and things like that, and I'm pretty sure that they're really nitpicky. But one of the things that I am very, very, very focused on is veterans issues. I'm a veteran, and one of the things that we were promised was the government was going to stop fighting veterans in courts for benefits that we're entitled to. And that just simply hasn't happened. Veterans are fighting more and more and harder, and you get caught in these government feedback loops. But then when you start to understand that particular issue, you can see the other issues with legislation, and that's really where the linchpin is, right? So like right now, we're having a major issue in Afghanistan. I don't know if you guys have followed that at all. Many of my friends are vets. I never served in Afghanistan, but probably about 2 months ago, I started watching a lot of my friends just absolutely going off the wall. And I'm like, so what's going on, guys? How can I help? Right. And they were like, okay, so we need somebody to do some data entry, and we need you to do it with this group. It's called the Afghan Canadian Interpreters. So I started volunteering for them, and then you see this very large announcement from Trudeau where we're going to have 20,000 Afghans that are going to be able to resettle into Canada, right? So this is just a prime example of what the problems with the government are. They don't have enough people with IRCC, Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada, to actually process these applications. So these people can't move anywhere. They can't get the paperwork just to get off the ground. And these are the people that actually supported the troops on the ground. These are the reasons that in a lot of cases, the troops were surviving. So how are we leaving them behind to actually face certain death in Afghanistan? But that's okay because the government promised that they're going to save 20 of them. They just can't get them out. That's all.
What happens when, first of all, thank you very much for your service. And, the second point, so you come back from, providing the service to your country and, I guess if you haven't been to these places where it's complete civil war and they're trying to bring peace to these countries, you don't really know the devastating things you see or you have to do when you serve. But you made a great point. What do we do for our military men and women when they come back and they do face challenges, or they're looking for employment, or they need the consistent income? So you mentioned we're not doing enough at this point in time.
No, and I had a friend of mine that had to fight Veterans Affairs just to get his tuition paid that they promised him for courses that he's been told he has to take in order to maintain his spot in the program that he's in. So I'm on the vocational rehabilitation program. So this is it's a wonderful program, and I think the government was very generous with this program. And what it's geared to is for after your service to help you transition from military life to civilian life, right? There are so many hurdles in this program, and it comes down to the legislation. It's absolutely insane. So with one part of the program, you're allowed to make up to $20,000 without that actually affecting your benefit. And then the expectation is as soon as you're done whatever project or whatever you're working on, you apply to EI. So this is actually built into the program, and Veterans Affairs will tell you, don't tell EI that you're receiving this Veterans Affairs benefit, because they'll screw it up. And it's okay, I'm going to do what the Queen tells me to do because I'm a veteran and that's my job, right? And then EI will rake you over the coals. You'll end up having to be in a repayment situation, even though your Veterans Affairs benefit is actually protected by the Constitution.
Right.
So then you're stuck in this perpetual fight with the courts, and that's exactly what Trudeau said was not going to happen. But this is not unique or special to Veterans Affairs or EI. This is the same issue that Indigenous people face when they're dealing with things like the Indian Act and things like the environmental laws, right? So you have to fight the legislation, but you have to do it in a position where you probably don't know what all the legislation is and you can't afford representation.
Why? Oh, sorry, Mark. I got a lot of burning questions, but one that I ask any political candidate that comes on the show is, and maybe it's not a simple answer, but to me it should be, why in 2021 do we have Indigenous communities without clean drinking water?
Well, that's it.
Wow, exactly. Right? And in Green Bay right now, we're having a real issue with lead in our drinking water in this city, 100%, which is really minor, but you have a lot of infrastructure problems. You have a lot of science problems. You have a lot of funding problems. This is just issue after issue. And Serpent River First Nation was one of my favorite places. I have a very dear, sweet friend there, but actually watching what they went through with the water was crazy. When you actually look at the water, it's full of humic acid, 100%, right? So from a scientific perspective, what that means is they have a whole high concentration of leaves that are just decaying in the water. So they don't have the facility there that'll actually take that out of the water. So you end up with things like trihalomethanes, and those are bad. So their big solution to that problem is to drop off bottled water to the people in the area. So how do you shower with a bottle of water? Do you hold it over your head like this and sprinkle yourself?
Well, that's right. Deplorable conditions. When we had our candidates discussion last week on the show, our member of the NDP, Charlie Angus, was stating that some of these places have, water facilities, but, contractors have, I guess, started to do the work and they've, left it. And some of these buildings are there, but there's no piping to, to hook up, building A to building B, which, houses the water.
Yeah.
That's the issue. And, people stating why an election in the middle of, a COVID year, I think the dollar sign, don't quote me on it, $670 million for this election, where you think, where does that money come from? Why can't they put money like that towards, the indigenous communities and, to hook up these water facilities? If it's that easy for an election, why can't it be that easy to pipe clean water into these communities?
Well, okay, before I even touch that issue, when you're a candidate, one of the first things that you actually legally have to do is you have to secure signatures from 50 people in your riding that are valid in order to just get your nomination to stand. Okay, so I'm running against the Minister of Health. So before you can even start, you have to go and say, hey, you over there that you don't know me, I'm going to knock on your door, get right in your personal space in the middle of the fourth wave. Can you please sign my form right here?
Right.
Like, how absurd is
it's
that?
Ridiculous.
100. It was the most unethical thing I've ever had to do. So I actually went down to the PPC rally here in Thunder Bay, and they looked at me like, why are you guys here? And I said, because I'm not going door to door. I refuse to go door to door. I think it's the most unethical thing I've ever done. And I understand that most of you guys are probably unvaccinated, right? And they were like, yeah, we are. And I was like, okay, so I understand that you guys are willing to take a different kind of risk and you're actually outside. So since we're standing in this park right now, can I get every one of you to sign my form? And they did. Every single one of them did.
Oh,
so
crazy.
I understand there's a lot of different opinions with the PPC, 100%. I get it.
Yeah, and Amanda brought up a great point. It's different times, obviously, and there wasn't a lot of time to campaign for this election. It's a snap election, I believe is the term. And you're right, it's different because it is uncomfortable right now going door to door, and there hasn't been a lot of face-to-face debates, if any. There might have been something happening in Thunder Bay, but it's yeah, right. So it's outside the norm. So yourself being involved in a couple different elections, have there been a lot of differences this time around?
This is actually one that makes me feel really dismayed. In the last election, we had extremely low voter turnout. So the incumbent actually won with, I think it was 27% of the available vote. Mm-hmm. So less than 1/3 of the people that could vote for her did. And so that leaves about 60% of your voters that aren't terribly happy. Mm-hmm. Okay. So in this particular election, my first question is, are you engaged in this at all? To which most people will say, nope, I don't even care. Right. And you can't blame them. You really can't blame them. And especially over the last 18 months of this entire pandemic, like we've had so much information thrown at us every single day. And you're in your house with this whole thing being bombarded. Mm-hmm. So I can't really blame anybody for really not wanting to make the decision of who to vote for next.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it probably is information overload. And every election, you hear the same statements, right? Just get out and vote, exercise your right to vote. And maybe there's a bump in some elections, but there's still like a decent majority of the population that you're right is not engaged. Mm-hmm. And maybe like it's information overload, or they don't know who to choose. Mm-hmm. Or they just don't care to choose. But you're right, what you're saying, like 60% of the people not voicing their opinion is something to be concerned about, because in theory people should, because they're making decisions that could affect their lives. But this has been an ongoing problem from election. I assume for as many years as elections have been going on.
Oh, absolutely. And like this one here, you have the extra added layer of people do not want to be in places they do not actually have to be because they're afraid of COVID, and they should be, vaccinated or not, you actually still have a risk. And that's just the reality of it. And you can see that because they're actually reporting the rates of people that are showing up at the hospitals, vaccinated and unvaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
So for my 40th birthday, I had the unfortunate pleasure of nursing somebody with COVID back to health. So I've actually seen what that disease can do to somebody, and I hope to never, ever see it again. It's absolutely wretched, and people suffer. They suffer in some very substantial ways.
Mm-hmm.
When they say someone recovered, you know, when you see someone on, you know, Facebook, you know, stating, you know, this person recovered, it's got a 99% recovery rate. People who do recover, they've got long detrimental effects even after the fact. I know people personally who have been still battling, you know, the effects of, you know, using heavy puffers now for 2 months after the fact of being recovered.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. 100%. I know the friend of mine that ended up with the COVID, he was probably 2 months recovering. And because of the lack of testing when he got it, it wasn't immediately understood that that's what he had. But in the middle of a pandemic, you don't get double viral pneumonia in both lungs that just about kills you. It just doesn't happen. Right. So there's been a real issue with testing right across the board, and this has actually kept us from our families 100%. And I understand the vaccine is a wonderful thing. It's a great tool to combat this virus. Absolutely. I am all for vaccines. We still need testing to understand what the actual spread in our communities is so that we know what's really going on. We've had so much misinformation from so many sources. Like even the government didn't know what it was because it was so new. So you can't expect anybody to just magically know what's going on. And then they ended up doing things like telling us not to wear masks. So like I can even tell you, my friend that ended up with the COVID, we went together in January of 2020 to just go get masks from Shoppers Drug Mart. I'm asthmatic. And we were actually doing some sanding and things like that. So I really did actually need a face mask, and we were shamed, right? So, but that's the way it is. There's so much misinformation that it's okay to shame people now if they have an opinion that's not the same as yours. And that's never been what Canada was. We've always worked together and worked through things, but when we're being told to shame people, things aren't right anymore.
That's right. You're making some very valid positions. So, you know, if me and you, Amanda, were to go to Tim Hortons and just have a conversation, you know, I would say something like, why should I place my vote for the Green Party? What would you tell me in a couple of minutes?
In a couple minutes, we don't whip votes, and we actually base our decisions in real science. And like, I'm an environmental scientist. So are most of the people that I know within the Green Party, and the rest of them are lawyers, right? Mm-hmm. The really fun ones are the environmental scientists that are our lawyers. So it's like, they actually get what's going on. And a lot of it comes down to getting the full picture before you actually make any assumptions.
Mm-hmm. It sounds very easy to follow there, Mark. And, you know, we really wish we had a Green Party representative in the Timmins, James Bay area, because then once again, to me, people who are very engaged in the vote can educate themselves and choose what position is best fit for them. But when you're missing a party member, it sometimes makes it a little challenging. But how, like, a personal question I have here is, how difficult is, you know, personally to put yourself forward in an election? Because, you know, when it comes to politics, everyone has an opinion and sometimes they aren't complimentary. So I guess you have to expect that. You have to have some sort of, I guess, self-confidence and awareness that's going to happen. It takes some courage, I would assume. It
takes a lot of courage. And especially when you're running one of the not so mainstream parties, because I actually came across a situation where I was in a public forum where one of the two major party members laughed at me, right? To which I actually leaned over my desk. I looked at them and I shamed them right back. It's like, at least I have an answer here. I don't laugh at people who come up with solutions to problems, unlike you, right? And I can guarantee you that politician who's actually quite well known was not expecting that kind of response from little old me. But that's what more Canadians need to do, right? Because as as they're laughing at you, making fun of you, or whatever it is, you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and say, yeah, well, I disagree. And that's okay too. So I've had a lot of practice at that.
Yeah, that's right. I always find
Right.
it's almost like, Mark, my son works at Tim Hortons and we talk about exercising some patience when it comes to dealing with the public, but also there's time to stand your position if someone's being blatantly ignorant. And,
Well, that's right.
that's obviously a lesson, something that you got to have that skill set too in politics, because you're in front of the public.
Yeah, you need obviously a big backbone, and again, a perfect example is you can't, people say, why would you run for the Green Party? You know what? You shouldn't knock anybody unless you're in your shoes. For instance, Amanda's shoes, who's joining us from Thunder Bay tonight. I have respect for anybody who is in politics and is, willing to put up a fight. And again, Amanda, it takes a certain person to do, the politician and put the politician cap on. And, it's got to be a tough gig, but you seem to be holding yourself pretty well.
I mean, I do what I can.
Yeah. We do have a question from Chris Gotta, and I think he gave a shout out from Thunder Bay. So if that was true, what's up, Thunder Bay?
There you go. Another 807 represent.
Yes, I love him. Nice. I love them all, Kinsman. But he's asking about the tradespeople. And I remember, when I went to university late 90s, my folks were, you have to go to university to find any type of decent employment career after. And they were sort of shying away from college. But a lot of my friends went into the trades. They enjoy their work. They're making very sustainable income. They get to do all these work on all these exciting projects, and it's awesome. So I guess the long-winded question, Amanda, what can the government do for the tradespeople? Is there a gap there? Is there a concern coming from that side?
I think there is a very large concern and a very large gap. And one of the things that's not going on is they're not being supported in any way. So there's this expectation that you figure it out how to actually get the training. So unless you get the training, you can't get the job. And if you can't get the job, then where are you? So one of the things that the Green Party is very, very focused on is free tuition. And the other thing is universal basic income. So in a position like with me, I went back to school. I was actually fortunate enough to do that while I was on the vocational rehabilitation program. That's not available to everybody. I do remember there was a program about 20 years ago that I actually successfully applied for as well. It was called the Second Chance Career Strategy at that point. It's now called Second Chance, I believe, or Second Career, one of the two. But so in positions like somebody that wants to pursue a trade with the Green Party platform, we would allow them to pull from the universal basic income so that their basic bills were paid. Plus, we'd allow them to have free tuition. So that would mean they'd actually be able to go to school and not be scared about how they're going to pay their rent. And they wouldn't have these huge overbearing OSAP bills to contend with at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense, because we always, as society, if someone's in a bad position, we always tell people, well, better yourself. There's lots of resources, whether it's a mental health problem, an educational problem, personal problem. The easy solution, just better yourself. But that's easy to say, but it's hard to act unless you don't have the proper supports in place. And finances is a huge one when it comes to education.
Oh, totally. And like one of my favorite sayings is, well, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Now, what happens if you don't have bootstraps?
Right.
Right. It's tough to pull on the bootstraps when you're down to the bare minimum. And again, it's hard to get by. So yeah, finances when it comes to education, they want you to go to school and get these great jobs, but it's kind of a hard leap if you miss the boat on scholarships and whatnot. It's nice to have the scholarships, but for those who have to pay out of pocket, it can be quite a daunting task.
Oh yeah, and what about those younger students whose parents' income is actually what the OSAP is rated after? Mm-hmm. Then you're at a serious disadvantage. And in my experience, what I've seen with other students is, their parents don't make enough money to afford to pay for their school too.
Yeah.
but there's no help for them. Or heaven forbid, you're in a situation where your parents are divorced and there's an expectation of the one parent to pay where they just don't have it. So, but that goes back to this thing where the government says we're going to give you this and that with no actual real inclination to do that. They're just saying they're going to.
Very interesting. Very like down to earth, relatable issues that the Green Party puts at the forefront, because it's very easy to get consumed with the COVID discussion now, because that's consumed our world the last year and a half. But around the COVID, there's still all these other issues and concerns people had.
That's right.
Before it, and they haven't gone away. And once again, we've talked about a few of them. Like, to me, number one, if you're living in Canada, you should be able to drink clean, good glass of water. To me, that's personally, that's number one. We're very fortunate in our community, we can do that. But I really feel for the up north and Indigenous communities where they can't. And I've seen some of the pictures where the children are seriously ill. The whole community part, not just the children, the community members are ill, and it's very sad. And just thinking, it feels like we're a first world country, and we should treat our citizens like we're in a first world country. And
you always see these. You always see, these. The candidates. They always promise every single election. They always say we're going to bring clean water to the remote Indigenous communities. I think you hear it every single election, but it never gets done. And again, they start the process, but we need a definite party who's going to finish the process. And get clean water. The party that wins and actually put, you can turn a tap on, in the remotest areas of northern Canada, and you see clean water come out. That's the party I'm voting for.
Yep. Yeah, and like going back to Attawapiskat, this is one of my favorite examples, right? They're like, oh, we're going to put clean drinking water up there. And they built a beautiful plant right downstream from the outflow from their wastewater treatment facility.
Which doesn't make sense at all.
No, because then you're just sucking up the feces.
Well, a comment from Joanne just passed on there. She says, poor people are getting sores on their bodies. And again, it's from the bacteria buildup in this water. It may look clean, but there's a definite some bacteria that is, very, very bad for one's health. And again, that has to be rectified. You can't just say, okay, they've got bad water. You can't throw it under the rug. These types of issues need to be, tackled head on.
Absolutely. And getting back to the education piece, like if you actually allowed people the education so that they can understand the science behind that, plus the legislation behind it, you'd actually get somewhere with it. And that's one of the reasons I am so firm that we do need free tuition in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's been discussed for many years about the tuition. And did we not have something here, Mark, about a year and a half ago? It might have just been a tuition freeze, but I know that the provincial government, I believe, did something. I know, like they've accelerated programs and they either froze or decreased tuition, but it's never been
the payback. I guess got rid of the I want to say the interest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that, but I do know that they actually put the interest on freeze during COVID because they found that people weren't working. Right. So what are you going to take your CERB and throw that all on your OSAP? Because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And there are there's the provincial part and then there's the federal part too. Right. So part of the problem with the OSAP funding overall is sometimes the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. And then again, you're stuck trying to figure out, like, have I paid it all? Haven't I paid it all? Who do I owe money to? How many payments do I have to make in a month?
And you mentioned CERB. So when I talked with employers in Thunder Bay, when we talked with employers in Timmins, they go, every employee, 9 out of 10 for sure, it's so hard to hire people right now. We can't find anyone to work. We either have to close on days that we used to be open. We have to shut down early. We used to be open late. Are you hearing the same from employers in Thunder Bay? And the blanket reason we hear here is like CERB. It's CERB. People want to stay home. Is that the simple answer? And what would be your position on helping out the employers get through this?
Well, that's only part of the issue. CERB has been a bit of a detriment, and I've seen this. Actually, I remember reading very well, and this made me mad. about somebody who shouldn't have had CERB in the first place, actually screaming because they ended up in a telephone scam. And then they were crying that they couldn't buy their fancy new house with their CERB money. And it's like, oh, you missed the boat on that one. I'm glad that you had the help there when you needed help, but that seems to be a little bit unnecessary. So like, they needed to better target what the CERB was, roll it out better. You saw much the same with when they rolled out the minimum wage, when they increased it across the board so that everybody all of a sudden that was really low wage stayed low wage, because as long as you made it up to the $16 an hour, was it? Right. They didn't care about the people that were already making $16, $17, $18. So now you're comparatively poor, and you've been working your job for how long? You put in your time, and there was no incentive for you there. CERB was badly managed. It was very, very, very needed, 100%. But then you saw this directive come back where people weren't given the information that they even needed to apply for the benefit properly. And some people that needed it couldn't access it. People that didn't need it were getting way too much. And it was just a matter of the Liberals were able to say we spent more money on another problem.
Right. One thing I thought, and I'm probably on the side of the debate where it's probably ran its course, but one of the things I personally saw is that there were people in legitimate need of income. They had lost their positions, and I thought they rolled it out pretty quickly to help people. Personally, I was impressed with that. And of course, when you rush something, there's going to be some gaps and there's going to be some fraud. But yeah, I do think the length of time, there's probably a decent percentage of people that are on it that can be working. And the problem used to be I can't find a job. Now the problem is I got too many job offers. I just don't want any of them.
And now you can't, you can't staff any of the hours. We were at the mall just yesterday. Ran into the ladies at Reitman's, and they're only normally open, 9 a.m. till close, normal mall hours, but they're only staffed 11 to 6 due to the fact that that's the only time that they can be there. No, they can't get anybody to come on in with a resume and say, I'm looking for a job. Do you have any hours? She says, we can't go past 6 o'clock because obviously they've been there all day from 11 to 6. They want to go home and see their families. But, it's as easy, people looking for a job, all they have to do is drop off a resume to, I'm going to say easily a handful of stores. And, there is ample work out there. But people, because of the CERB and, sitting at home, why would you? You hear people online say you're getting $2,000 every 2 weeks. Why would you go and apply somewhere when you're getting that, every paycheck?
Totally, 100%. So then I have friends that are on disability because, veterans. And some of them don't necessarily qualify for the actual Veterans Affairs benefit for whatever reason. And if you're on ODSP, you can't afford to live in a house with no mortgage because of what you get paid on that particular benefit. So like, I think right across the board, we need to have a serious concerted look at who actually needs help, in what ways do they need help, and we have to stop just throwing money at problems without any accountability. Nobody should ever have to worry when they are disabled, legitimately disabled, about living in a house with no mortgage. It doesn't get any cheaper than that.
Thomas makes a really good comment. Caregivers are what got hit the hardest.
Especially mothers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to throw in, and the brothers too, that are sitting at home with their kids as well, right, because single fathers are every bit as important as single mothers, and stay-at-home dads are as important as stay-at-home moms. But he's absolutely correct, and they don't get any support. They absolutely get forgotten about. And this is a class where, much like when your OSAP is being assessed on your parents' income, caregivers at home are often assessed by their spouse or what is deemed to be same as spouse, which can be a parent in some cases. And I think that's kind of crazy. But yeah, just because you're a caregiver doesn't mean you don't actually have value in society. And we need to actually take a look at that and make sure that those people in those situations have the same support as everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can see when it comes to, you know, financially supporting people, there is a lot of frustrations. Yeah, you're right. It's just, how do you find the right balance to get the money to the people who need it, and then prevent the good majority of the fraud?
Yeah.
That can't be an easy task.
No, not at all. But one of the problems is you have the federal government farming so many things out to the provinces and saying, here, you guys deal with that. And like, there, constitutionally, there are things that are deemed to be issues of the province, things that are deemed to be issues of the country. 100%, I'm with you. I understand the divide. But when you have two levels of government that don't communicate, things are going to go just absolutely silly sideways. And that's what we're seeing right across the board.
A lot of interesting topics. For this
interesting topic.
Yeah, a lot of
for sure. Team Green is a very, very interesting, very refreshing, you know, party to listen to and a campaign. It's a lot of great points, valid points that need to be addressed. It's just a matter of, you know, again, when people vote, when people say they're going to go to the voting poll, or they say, you know, I don't want to vote, like throwing away votes. You know, this is where they need to educate themselves and go to each party and, you know, find out who they're voting for. Fortunately, we don't have a Green Party here to vote for, so we're can you still vote? Obviously, in your own riding, if we don't have someone riding for the Green, you can't fill out a Green ballot, can you?
No, you can't, and it doesn't make any sense to not vote, and it makes even less sense to walk in and hand your vote back. And I understand why somebody would. I fully do. One of the last comments that came up here, it actually said that people need to understand that this is a federal election, not a provincial election, and the line is gray. And this line is getting more and more gray by the moment, and you can see this by the way they're rolling out the vaccine passport. This is one of those issues that is very important. It doesn't matter which side of the fence you're sitting on, everybody's got an opinion, right? So the federal government farmed this out to the provinces for what? A passport is something that is used for travel, and usually it's used for international travel. So with that being said, we know globally they are going to be implementing a vaccine passport for international travel. So why is the federal government putting this back onto the provinces, vilifying people as they're doing it, and not taking any responsibility other than, here's a bunch of money for you guys to figure it out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So carbon tax was a big enough issue to make it a federal issue. How is this not a big enough issue to make it a federal issue? I would suggest it's because the government that we have can't bring people together in a way that we can work together. They're just driving us to a bigger divide. So, and that's the one thing I'm against more than anything.
Amanda says, I heard that you just let people know you're voting Green and they'll mark it up some way.
Will they?
I'm not sure how the
I don't know how the election process works, but maybe someone can clarify that.
Mark always writes in Elvis anyway. So did you get that one vote there, Kinsman, or what? Don't waste your vote this year.
That's right.
Well, and I am fully against spoiling your vote. I am. However, sometimes that is what people need in order to understand that there was nobody to vote for in this riding, in this election. Because as much as you do vote for the prime minister, you don't. You vote for your local representation, and you always have to think of that first.
Yeah.
All great points. Well, it was really awesome talking with you, Amanda.
It's a pleasure.
You're very educated in all the federal and provincial subjects, because it is gray. I guess you got to know them all. And
yes,
very passionate. So, you know, the best of luck to you in the election. And you know, and once again, you're standing up for what you believe in. You're putting yourself out there, and that's awesome in our books, Kinsman. I love it. I love people who are passionate about their line of work, whatever it is.
Well, you have to be, and again, you have to have a big backbone to be in, you know, in politics. It's not for everybody. You have to have thick skin, and you know, again, you got to believe what you're saying, which Amanda does, and We wish you all the best, Amanda, and please come back and update us. Win or lose in your riding, you're always welcome on KINZ and KLOMP Live to address situations in Northern Ontario.
Now, wait, before Amanda goes, are you going to tell Amanda what I brought you home from Thunder Bay, Kinsman, and you ate a whole bunch of them? What was it?
Can I guess? Can I guess?
Yes.
Yeah. What is it?
Are they Persians?
Yes, the Persians. Well, see, I've never been to Thunder Bay to have a Persian. So when he first said that, I thought he was bringing back like a Persian rug or something, something like ornament figure. But no, I had the Persian for the first time. Very tasty. I tried to compare it to an apple fritter. I asked someone during that show. I said, "Is it similar to an apple fritter from like a local Tim Hortons or a donut shop?" And they ripped me apart. They said, "No, not even close." And again, not even close. I had the strawberry filling, I think it was, in the middle. Very tasty. So if you're ever through Thunder Bay, you can get in touch with Amanda. Amanda will hook you up with a box of Persians.
Oh, yeah. And before you let me go, I got to tell you this. When I was first new to Thunder Bay, I actually tried to let one of those go because it was stale. And my friend was like, "What are you doing? You cut that in half, you put it on a frying pan, and you fry it. And they're fantastic."
That's right. 10 to 20 seconds in the microwave apparently cures all stale donuts. So that's the microwavable hack there. I haven't tried them on the Persian because they didn't last too long to get to the day-old snack.
There it is. Yeah, the Persian's just as famous as the sleeping giant in Thunder Bay. But well, once again, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on and having the. I love this. It was a really good conversation. So thank you.
No, thank
you. Very enlightening topic. And again, the Green Party is an exciting party. Again, you need to have your eyes, focused on all the parties. You listen to them all. And again, the Green Party, you guys and gals bring great, valid points to the forefront. And if you want to stay green, then Team Green is where you're at. Again, if someone wants to follow you and, find out more on Green, can they find you, Amanda, on Facebook?
Absolutely. I do have a very active Facebook page, and I would love to have as much engagement as possible.
Good. Well, thank you.
Yes. Well, thanks so much, Amanda.
Folks there. That's awesome.
Good luck on the 20th.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Very, very passionate about all the subjects, Kinsman. Do you have to be. Do you wish you were that good at your job as Amanda is at her?
Passionate. I think both you or I are passionate, but probably not for the
yeah, buddy. Yes,
we're passionate about giving people a chance to win stuff and
all right,
promote amazing businesses who help us out here in the city.
Well, we have some prizes to give away, but you and I wanted to chat about a couple things here. Let's take this one there. The Wake Nationals. Do you know, we know someone who watches this show very often, and is on your case when you slip, Kinsman. A very close relative of hers is very much involved in this.
Yes, Joanne, who was out walking listening to tonight's show. She wanted us to make a mention to Brooklyn McGinn, and she's going to be hitting the cable at Planet Bayou in Shelburne, which is about 7 hours from here south, to compete in Canada's Cable Park Nationals. And we're going to wish Brooklyn McGinn all the best as she jumps onto the wakeboard. Apparently, you can't if you were trying to find Brooke all summer. She was down at the Timmins Wakeboard Park. Okay, getting prepared for the Nationals, which is got to be kind of exciting. And she quotes here on her Facebook page, if you follow Brooklyn, she says, win or lose, she's just going for the experience. That's the best mentality to have going into any competition.
Saw a certain party sign on my walk today, and someone scratched USA on it. Don't tell Kinsman that's vandalism of the signs, right, Kinsman?
It is. There was another vandalized one up on Norman, up at front. If you drive right in front of Cedar Meadows there. It's my regular boys' bus route and their daycare route on the day. And yeah, someone spray painted a Charlie Angus sign.
Yes, Joanne's very proud and should be. You and I, we were invited to go there, and we did not go. Is it too late? No, right? We could still go, right?
I think it's still there. They're on school hours now. They had to go back to school and studies, but they still are there until I guess the snow flies. So you and I could strap a wakeboard to our feet and see how well we are. Maybe we can get a lesson from Brooke before she heads off. She's headed off there in the next couple of weeks to the Nationals. So wishing Brooke again all the best. Follow her on Facebook, Brooke Lynn McGinn. And again, only 13 years of age. So she's ripping up the wake.
What were you doing at 13, Kinsman? Staring at your Atari.
My Atari.
I was watching
Vision. I was probably out on a golf course somewhere.
Yeah, I bet. September is Ovarian Cancer Month.
Yes, it is. And got a message from Carol Gerard here in the city just before hopping on to tonight's show. She wants to get the word out there that September is Ovarian Cancer Month. And coming up on Sunday night, 6 o'clock at the MAC, they're going to be bringing their team from Timmins, which is going to be walking. The ladies are going to be walking for the very first time. Team Bridget Ensemble is one of the top teams for donations in all of Canada. The team consists of their team captain, Carol Gerard, who reached out to us, who's going to walk alongside Bridget Castingay. So if you know Bridget Castingay, she's the one doing the walk. She's encouraging you to make a donation if you can by calling the number on the ticker tape below, 1-877-413-7970. And again, you can answer, or whoever answers on that end, take your donations that way. And if you want to take part in her walk and join her, again, 6 o'clock Sunday night, and we at KINZ and KLOMP will wish Bridget all the best. And again, praying for good weather for the walk on Sunday night.
We are. Lori Ball wants you to get on this KINZ and KLOMP merch site, and I do too, Kinsman, to put in some overtime tonight and get these KINZ and KLOMP leggings going. I agree. They actually have them.
Leggings?
Yeah, you actually have them. Are you the best guy that designed leggings? I think we need a different perspective.
No, hats and hoodies is my department. That's about it.
I seen Joanne when I was driving back to South End. She was walking down past the college with her KINZ and KLOMP sweater on.
Yes. Nice to see a lot of the newer hoodies out there, the newer merch that we have up on our site, which you can find on our Facebook page. Link is there. And again, the Cancer Can Suck It hoodies going right back to my boy's oldest sister, Sierra. She's battling a form of cancer, salivary gland tumor, and was recently diagnosed. And again, the proceeds from the Cancer Can Suck It hoodies, again, on our merch site, which is on our Facebook page, proceeds from that hoodie going to Sierra's fight. And that helps her mom and Sierra make the trips, which they're headed back to Toronto and, for more testing and eventually the surgery, which will take place at Sick Kids.
The Timmins Rock return to the ice tomorrow. It's an exhibition game. No fans allowed for the exhibition game.
Yeah, no fans.
But they will be allowed for the home opener. Well, there's going to be one fan there Friday, though. Someone's getting an exception. Who is it? Do I know him?
Right. Yes. I've been invited back and hired back on as the public address announcer for the Timmins Rock. Ted Gooch and I would go back many moons. I was doing it back when they were the Abitibi Eskimos and did some announcing up there at the Igloo in the Just Jordan Arena. Now back in Timmins. Now I do believe this is I want to say my 6th year, 5 years being the PA announcer. But anyhow, looking forward to it. Of course, with COVID, didn't do any of the PA last year, so it's nice to get the nod to come back. And again, tomorrow night's game is at 7 o'clock. They're going to take on the Hearst Lumberjacks, and we want you to get there when stands are going to be filled with fans, as they say. Pack the MAC. We've got tickets available for next Friday's game just by being a commenter. Just comment in the thread right now, and we'll be doing the draws shortly. That's 2 tickets available for the season home opener next Friday night at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and Mike's a big Rock fan, so he'll be at all the games.
Yeah, Mike Blick actually tried calling during the show. Always tries calling there. The next time he calls, we'll put him on speakerphone.
Yes, we should. I know he always attends all the Rock games. That is awesome.
He's probably one of the biggest fans outside of Nick Gelida, who's the team ambassador for the Timmins Rock. Those two gentlemen. If you're ever having a bad day, you live vicariously through Nick and Mike, two biggest hearts of gold that you'll ever run into at the MAC, and of course biggest Timmins Rock fans out there.
So Cap's turning 100, and they got their, Kapuskasing's Got Talent contest. They're
Yep.
down to the final 10 finalists, Kinsman. Now, do you think if you lived in Kapuskasing's, you would have made it to the top 10, or you would have been one of those, American Idol silly auditions that people just post to laugh at? Finalists
I don't know if I would make the top 10, but anyhow, the top 10 Kapuskasing residents are ready for the Cap 100 Rendezvous weekend, where the 10 finalists, if you go to the Kapuskasing, on the Kapuskasing Facebook page, all 10 entrants are still there. You can find out who's going to be performing. And again, they've got some fun, weather permitting. It's obviously going to be under a tent. So even if it does rain, you've got the 10 finalists hitting the stage in the tent outside the Civic Center. And again, that happens all weekend. They've got Cap 100 events all this week. So lots of fun. And a shout out to our viewers up in Kapuskasing, or for the newcomers to the city, they call it Kapuskasing.
Okay.
Heard that a few times there. I almost spit my coffee out when they said that. They said, I said, where are you going? Kapuskasing. What are you talking about? I said, Kapuskasing? Oh, that's right. Kapuskasing.
Right. Close. I guess it's close enough. The NGA tournament is coming up here in Timmins, where you're going to see some of the best for their age golfers across Canada. And we've said it on a couple shows. They're looking for volunteers, and to me, you're looking for something to do for a weekend, something different. Get out of the house, get outdoors, be part of something really special and fun. Hey, volunteer.
And having Golf Canada on your resume, I'm just saying that is a great volunteer opportunity if you're looking for volunteer hours. Again, the tournament is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the week of September 16th through 19th. So that's next week. They're looking for sign carriers, walking scorers, registration team members, player transportation team if you've got your license, transferring the players to and from their hotels to the course, the on-course team, and they're also looking for caddies. How cool would it be to caddy for one of these junior golfers shooting a 65 or lower? And talking to the tournament chair, Owen Rigg, who's the one accepting your emails, by the way, for these positions, says the course record is in jeopardy with these players. He was saying a couple of these players will probably be shooting low 60s, like 62, 61s. Could there be a 59 shot at the Hollander next week, which is kind of exciting. And again, it's governed by Golf Canada. The top wigs are going to be up earlier next week playing the course.
Yeah.
And one of the top wigs, I guess the big wigs, she's the head of the RBC Canadian Open on the PGA Tour. So pretty cool stuff.
Your buddy Mason had too much school. He's passed out on the couch.
I don't blame Mason. A lot of pictures of kids back to school, getting back into their routines. And again, we salute Mason. He's a big supporter of our show. So when he wakes up, that's the benefit of our show. You can watch it at any time. Obviously, if you miss it in real time. But I should say here, Owen's email, if you're looking for one of those positions, is Owen_Rigg at hotmail.com, or just contact the Hollander Golf Course. Ask Jolie there, and she'll patch you through to Owen.
What was your email in high school? Was it like Big Sexy with 2 X's, 1973 at gmail.com?
No, I had, believe it or not, I had Rocket Mail. Anybody else have Rocket Mail? This was back in the ICQ days. It was mkinsman at rocketmail.com, where at one point Rocket Mail deleted itself and turned into Yahoo. So if you've ever had the pain of losing, things, you've had, important files, one day Rocket Mail just said, okay, we're done now. Sorry, you just lost 7 years of your life. So I lost some vital info there from my younger days. Yeah.
Did you just see the house fly? It just flew by me. No, Kinsman, no. Like I went to a Rocket. What are you talking about, Rocket Mail? I don't.
Yeah, Rocket Mail. mkinsman at rocketmail.com. That was my email address back at Loyalist College.
Yeah.
Back in 1997. It was the step up from the teletype. That's back in the ancient days. 97. Hard to believe that it was that long ago.
Shout out to all the parents, to everyone. Really, pandemic isn't normal nor easy. Yes,
sure is. Good words there from Chris. Thanks so much for the comment.
Blockbuster guy's giving everyone his email address. There it is. If you want to email the Blockbuster guy.
Well, he said he had nerds rule at. Maybe need a bug zapper.
Yeah, it's got the fly.
Timmins on the fly.
Yeah, my hoodie.
My hoodie.
My own merch hasn't even arrived yet, and I'm going to put in a complaint to you. Who do I complain to? You, Kinsman? Like, where's my merch?
Got to complain to either KINZ or KLOMP. So who gets it?
Mark Kinsman, you are dating yourself. Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
He is dating himself.
Yeah.
I saw the fly. I thought it was seeing things. Yes, this fly is flying around everywhere. And now he's giving his legit. There it is. Well, if you want to send him a hello.
Well, why not? Again, a very interesting guy. We saw him at the mini putt tournament of fun back with Don Marcoux there at the Hollander mini putt. Great guy. And if you think his profile's great, he dresses up wearing the black.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, we love Ronnie. Okay, you want to give away some of these prizes? So we got 3. So let's not blow it.
3 prizes to give away. And again, we have new software.
You ready for number 1?
It looks a little bit more exciting than that blue dot, but that's what we're looking at here. So this is for what are we drawing here for?
You pick, Kinsman. I'm hitting the button.
Okay, this is let's do $30 to the Mountjoy Farmers Market. The farm to Fort Bucks.
There it is, pal. Oh, look, my son's in there. He's not winning. I'll skip him.
Who's it going?
KINZ KLOMP Live. We can't win either.
No. Hey, Amanda Roy.
All right. You write that down, Kinsman.
Yeah, Amanda Roy is off to she's got the $30.
All right.
Number 2, let's give away the Rock tickets. All right. This is for the Timmins Rock next Friday at the McIntyre Arena. The first time setting foot in as a fan since last March of 2020. It was March 11th. The night it was the night after the first playoff game. That was the last time I've been in the McIntyre Arena for a hockey game.
All right, Kinsman. It's not about you. It's about the winner. You ready?
Let's award 2 tickets. Yeah.
2 Rock tickets for next Friday, correct?
Yeah, next Friday night. It's a 7:00 game time, and again, I'll put you in touch with Ted Gooch. He'll get you in touch with those tickets. There we go, Chelsea Stewart.
There we go.
She's off to the Rock. And again, Chelsea, we'll reach out to you. We're going to reach out to Amanda Roy and get you in touch with your prize. And last but not least, who wants to go to the movies and sit in the luxury recliners from Imagine Cinema 6?
Are you ready?
Thanks to Gina Faca and Colin. Tune it into the show. They provided 2 movie passes. So let's find out who's going.
All right, Kinsman. It's going to say KINZ and KLOMP Live.
That's right. If we win, you buy me popcorn, okay? That's how that works. This is Imagine Cinemas.
Oh, Ashley. It always pauses on one before, and I think they're going to be the winner, and then it skips, right?
Is it Ladisser? I want to say Ladisser, Laducier. I think it's Ladisser. Ashley Ladisser. Nonetheless, we're going to call her Ashley the winner. She's off to Imagine Cinemas. So again, Ashley, we're going to message you after this show. I'm going to get your email and a phone number and a contact, and we'll put you in touch with Gina and Colin over at Imagine Cinemas, and you'll be off to the movies where they now feature Caramel Corn if you haven't been.
There we go, Kinsman. So you feel good that you were cheap tonight. 3 prizes.
That's right. Well, I gotta now I've raised the bar. I gotta keep going with more prizes for Sunday's show. So that's what's gonna happen.
Fuck it.
Monique tried almost.
Sometimes I feel like that too. Okay, it's okay. I say
right. You almost won. Oh,
it's the Rocket Mail. Yes, it is the Rocket Mail.
Yeah, it was Rocket Mail. Yeah, type in Rocket Mail, and it turned to Yahoo, and then Yahoo Mail, and then from Yahoo, I went over to Gmail.
There's Colin right there. There's the man giving away the passes.
Colin won a couple nights ago. He won the $50 restaurant, the multi-restaurant gift pack. Gift card. So he was excited to win that. Blockbuster guy says, "I'll get is the door prize."
Yeah. Oh, I want to see Candyman. Actually, I heard that the reviews are great, and I love the Candyman franchise.
Yeah. I don't know. Can you beat the original though?
Yeah, I think from the reviews say they did a real good job there. Maybe I wonder if Colin gets to watch all these movies. You know, as the manager, if I was the manager there, I'd be going in early, playing out everything. You know, the popcorn.
But see, you say that. As you know, when you're working there, it's a little bit different. I used to say that when I used to work for a golf course way back. It was Glen Cedars Golf Club just outside of Pickering.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got the job, they said, you have a free membership. You can play anytime you want. When I was done working that day, I never felt like picking up a golf club. I didn't even touch the golf clubs after, mowing doing the greens and the fairways, raking the traps, tilling the traps with, the RVs and painting fence posts and the 150 stakes.
Mm-hmm.
I was long gone when it was time to punch out the clock there. So I don't know. Maybe Colin gets sick of the movies. Obviously loves them, but he's probably seen them a ton of times.
All right, there.
I
bet you watching movies is a lot more relaxing than playing around a golf after work.
Especially in the luxury recliners. And again, all the theaters have the luxury recliners. So yes, Ashley Laddiser is on her way. The movies, Chelsea Stewart's off to the Rock game next Friday, and Amanda Roy is going shopping at the farmers market on Saturday, 9 to noon, where we should say that there's going to be a couple sheep down there. Baba and Stella and Baba the sheep, and also Schmidt's Honey Farm, I should say, for Amanda down there, and anybody, they're going to be extracting honey from the honeycomb. So if you've never seen that process before, it's going to be quite neat at Schmidt's Honey Farm and their vendor booth on a Saturday.
Yeah. Oh my God, my son's really going to love the sheep. Yes, I agree. And you when we're there, Kinsman, you're always on the sheep, on the trucks. I can't get you to work. You're on
right. Well, my little guys know there's 2 sheep going to be down there, and again, Baba. And if you see the colors of the sheep is the black sheep. So there's going to be two sheep down at the Mountjoy Farmers Market.
So you were right. Colin doesn't watch as much as he used to. He's there too much. So what do you know?
He's there too much. He's enjoying time. That's why we gave him he had the chance to win it was the $50 restaurant gift card. We kind of steered him away from the theater.
Mason is going to laugh his butt off. He loves the sheep. Yeah.
Again, another great feature for the Mountjoy Farmers Market. Rock We Sell is trying to make it more adventurous for little ones when they come on down there. And again, he's done quite the job. He's had musicians down there. Kelsey Ides, Kaleidoscope, before she moved to Toronto, played down there. Sheep. They've had goats. They've had you name it. Ducks, tractors. Lots of fun.
All right, Kinsman. Before we go, make a promise to the audience that you won't waste your vote and vote Elvis this coming election. Are you going to vote Elvis? Yes or no?
I'm not voting Elvis.
I don't believe you.